Hello and welcome to the second edition of the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers mock draft in conjunction with Walk the Mock. Appreciate you guys being here. I am Alex Kazora, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. So I want to get the stream set up here, and we'll get into drafting in just one moment. So just let me go ahead and get set up on my end. I'll check in with the chat. We'll check audio and video and all those things, and we'll go ahead and get going. So, can you guys hear me? I want to check that first. Give me just 1 second. I'm getting some audio feedback. All right, so chat, just let me know if you guys can hear me, and we'll start drafting shortly for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me refresh the chat. All right, you guys hear me? I'm going to take the image off. I'll explain all that here in just 1 second. So now you guys should be able to see the Walk the Mock screen. I'll kind of explain how this is going to go tonight. And let me just look at it. There might be something slightly cut off in the top right corner, but I think it'll be okay for what we're going to do tonight. I had one issue with trying to reframe things, and so I just made a mistake, but we should be okay. So let me go ahead, get everything set up. Yeah, just me like the last one. So it'll be me, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna try all 7 rounds. This will be a little bit different. Let me just kind of give you the primer. Let me click the button here. This one will not be with other people. I wasn't entirely sure how Walk the Mock did this kind of stuff, and so I did check it out last night for a real-time draft with other people. And the issue with that is there wasn't really any that had a good time slot. There was this one. Actually, there's one at 7 right now, but there's only one other person in there. This is new. There was one for 8 o'clock that I was looking at, but the Steelers were taken, and so that wouldn't be any fun if I was in Pittsburgh. So this one's going to be done, excuse me, this one's going to be done just against the computer, and the setup is slightly different. There's no official clock. I'll kind of explain things as we start, but I don't want to delay too long, but I just want to let you know that we're going to do a draft against the computer. I may end up doing a third one just because I think it would be fun to do one of these real-time drafts with other people, at least some other people. And that may happen. I don't know if I can find the time for it, but maybe we'll do something short, as in like a 1-round or 2-round mock draft or something like that, not a full 7-round mock draft. And so because it's the computer, we should be able to do a 7-round mock. I just kind of have to more manually make them submit the picks because there is no clock, which I thought that there would be for this. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. And I don't know in terms of the ranking to use. I guess we'll just use my ranking. I don't have a ranking set, but fair enough. And so we're going to head right to the draft room and go ahead and get started here. Pittsburgh picking 17th overall. Trading will probably be a little more awkward just because they're computers and not people, and there is no official clock, and so it's going to be a little less chaotic, and I kind of could, I guess, game the system a bit more. But anyway, I want to get started here in just a minute. If you guys could subscribe to the channel and hit that like button, would really appreciate that. Bring as many people to the chat as possible, because you guys are my scouts, and so I want you guys to help me as much as possible and give me advice and help me make the pick. It's not going to be just me doing it. So I think we're good. Everything looks okay on my end, and so we'll go ahead here and start the 2023 mock draft with the Carolina Panthers picking first overall. And so you guys can kind of see how this will work. It's not going to be ideal, but it'll still be, I think, a lot of fun. So here we go. Starting the draft here, Carolina Panthers are on the clock. And the only downside, like I mentioned, is I don't see an official clock. Last night, I kind of waited like 5 minutes just to see if they would make a pick on their own, and I don't see that functionality. And so either I can trade. I don't want to just skip to my pick, especially at the start, because that's kind of boring. So So if I hit the no trade button, it'll basically make the pick because it'll say, okay, I'm not making a trade. And so the computer's going to make their call. Fast mode? Is there a fast mode? I'm not even sure where I see that on here. Put it on fast mode. Is there a button for fast mode on here? You guys could point me in the right direction. I only kind of briefly looked at this last night. Ross says, don't do trades. Yeah, I don't see a fast mode anywhere unless it was in the other screen above draft tools. Yeah, I don't see anything there. Mode select. I think that was taking us back to where we, picked, with people or drafts with trades and stuff like that. So, yeah, I know skip the pick goes directly to 17, Mike. I'm not going to hit that to start. Let me go ahead and make the first pick. We're not trading up to 1, so let me just kind of, start making some picks here, or at least let the computer make some picks. And so they're going to take C.J. Stroud first overall. C.J. Stroud, Ohio State. It sounds like it'll be Bryce Young, but in this mock, it is Stroud. And no, I'm not going to skip to 17. Maybe in the later rounds we might skip, but not going to do that to start. So I'm going to go ahead and just for the top 5, kind of, take 30 seconds, simulate a clock, and then let them make the pick. We will not trade up that high if we trade up at all. And so we'll kind of roll through this thing. Let me know who you guys think should be the pick at 17. And again, the way we'll do this draft is it's about who we want, not about predicting what Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin and Art Rooney II will do. This is entirely our mock draft to do it however we want to. The history and the visits and all that do not matter. So let's go here with the second pick to the Houston Texans. Got to be Bryce Young, you'd have to think. And I don't have the sounds either. Usually there's the alerts and stuff, which make this a little bit more exciting. So there it is. Bryce Young, number 2 to Alabama, from Alabama to Houston, I should say. So again, rolling through the picks here. Again, I may do a real-time draft because it's just a little bit more fun and I think exciting overall. But a lot of Brian Branch comments. This allows us to slow down, though, a little bit and kind of talk this stuff out with the draft 1 week and 1 day from now. So pick at 17, some Broderick Jones, says Chelsea. Of course, Joey Porter Jr., a popular name. That's Wesley saying that. So number 3, Arizona Cardinals. What do they do? I don't know if the computer trades with themselves. I don't think so. So that kind of is unfortunate. But Will Anderson, maybe the top non-quarterback in this class, goes to Arizona. Brian says Brian Brzee. I can pronounce his name this time. Last time we did this, I was struggling with the pronunciation. But Brian Brzee is a name to consider. And that'll be in real life and probably for this mock as well. Colts at 4. Looking for a quarterback, 2 off the board already. And okay. Well, I think something is screwed up with the rankings. If Kayshon Boutte is the pick at 4. I ran 2 simulations ahead of this and did not have this happen, with just obviously something incredibly unrealistic. Let me know, guys. Should we start this one over? Because obviously if this is going to happen at 4, I don't know how the rest of this draft is going to go. So maybe we should just restart this whole thing because I don't know the best way to handle it going forward, but I don't think the sim is going to play too well if we're getting this kind of stuff. So, because there was a way to pick different boards earlier. All right, let's hit the restart button. This is just silly. I did 2 test sims just to see A, would there be different picks, and A, are they semi-realistic, and it was fine. It was like, not outlandish. And then this happens when we're live. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead here and start on over. So if I go back to the standard one, I want to figure out on the rankings, though. Can I change the rankings? It just says my ranking and default ranking. How do I change the rankings? Maybe if I go default, I think if I go default, it's going to be more realistic. It's probably set to something more current. So yeah, default. Okay. I shouldn't have hit my ranking before. Maybe that's what I did that was different. So we'll etch-a-sketch this mock and start on over. And so that's probably my mistake for choosing they're on ranking. I've never made a ranking for this, so that's probably, I picked some random persons that was made who knows when, and so that's probably why things started to look a bit different. So yeah, what the mock? That sounds a lot more. All right, let's start the draft here and kind of get back to number 4 just real quick because we're not going to trade up. There we go, Bryce Young. He's now the first overall pick. Sorry, CJ Stroud, your moment in time is lost. And so number 2, that's probably going to be Stroud. There he is. There's CJ Stroud, Ohio State. Yeah, Alex taking Kayshon Boutte, 17th overall. That is confirmed. That is 100% confirmed. So thank you guys for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll just pretend that thing just never happened. Will Anderson going 3, and who do the Colts take it for this time? Hopefully not a late-round receiver, and it is Anthony Richardson. That seems a bit more realistic, so I'm glad that happened at 4 and not at like pick 13 with some total random nonsense that made us restart. So we'll get that out of the way. So there we go, back on track. And Seattle. And now things start getting more interesting at number 5 with the Seahawks. What do? Let's go ahead and find out. Nolan Smith. Seattle always throws that curveball. A lot of connections with Jalen Carter from Georgia. It's the other Bulldog here. Nolan Smith. That might be a touch unrealistic, but it's a little bit different, and so I'll take that. That's fun. That's fine. Again, if you guys could hit the like button and subscribe, would appreciate that. Going to have a lot more draft content, and if we do a 3rd live stream mock draft, which I kind of really want to do now that I'm kind of going through this, as I really want to do it against other people, or just a bit more exciting, a little more authentic, then you guys will be notified for that. Seattle goes Carter there. Yeah, I think in reality that's the rumor, but you never know until you know. So Detroit at 6, so they go corner, one of the top names, and just kind of looking at our, queue here. We look at some of the top names. The way they do this is a little bit funky in terms of trying to cycle through players, but you get the idea. I can just go back to all. All right, let's see what the Lions do at pick number 6. And it is Jalen Carter. So they're going to go value. Dan Campbell will take Jalen Carter at 6. And so the Raiders at 7. Yeah, a little bit different. You think corner, but, Drew Rosenhaus is extremely confident, and we'll find out if he's right or wrong, but he's extremely confident in Carter being a top 10 pick. And so he's not going to probably be a top 3, top 4 where all the quarterbacks are going. So that kind of narrows it down to about 4 or 5 teams he might go. All right, so we don't have to talk about trading up. I personally would probably not trade up for Jalen Carter. But we'll see what the Raiders do at pick number 7. Do they take a top corner? Tyree Wilson? Something else? Let's go find out. Will Levis. They go quarterback. They will take a quarterback to replace Carr. So Levis, the pick at 7, meaning the top 4 quarterbacks are off the board. And in real life, that's going to likely happen before Pittsburgh at 17, and that's going to help push down some of those names. The question is, will those names be pushed down enough? 17 feels like that awkward spot. We're going to do this. My fancy poll that I can do, although it's going to be a little bit not the best way done because I don't have a dual monitor system and I can't do a poll from my phone well. So what I'm going to do is, so you guys don't see me go through all the back end of YouTube, whenever I do a poll like I'll do right now, I'm going to put this image back on screen. And so I can go back into YouTube and type for you guys. I'm getting an error message as well. Oh, that's not a great sign. Does everything still look okay in terms of whenever we were on the Walk the Mock screen? Just let me know. I'm getting another error message. I shouldn't have messed with stuff last second, and I did, and that was a bad decision by me. Not supported by this configuration. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on right now. Let me do this poll though, and then we'll get back to the. Yeah, it's on the cover. Yeah, I'm getting something else though, so it should be okay. The image of the Steelers logo is supposed to be up right. I'm getting some other weird error message, but if everything's okay, then everything should be fine then. So let me just ask this general broad question. I know it's a very vague question I'm going to ask you guys, but I just want to get kind of a general feel. So we're going to go ahead and put this question out there, and then we'll come back to the walk the mock screen, and you guys should see it again with the poll. And I have to do this also to close the poll because the poll does not show up on my my phone for some weird reason. So yeah, everything should be okay in terms of resolution. I'll have to check all that stuff later. Hopefully on the playback it'll be okay as well, but we'll see. If everything's good for the stream, then everything will be good. So let's go ahead and make the pick here at number 8 for Atlanta. Who do the Falcons take? And they go Tyree Wilson, the edge defensive lineman from Texas Tech. And so seeing some of the responses here, no, says Mike. Steven says to trade back. Infinity says no trading up. Yeah, I know it depends on the board. I know I get asked this question all the time, and I always say I don't know, maybe. But I just want to kind of test the poll out and just see what you guys think. So I'll end that around pick 10. What do the Bears do at 9 with Carter off the board? The top cornerbacks being there, looking at the big board. Peter Skoronski there as well. Top tackles. Paris Johnson. Lucas Van Ness, the defensive end from Iowa. The Bears at pick 9, and they take Myles Murphy out of Clemson. So back-to-back pass rushers. Murphy, a name not talked about too much, been injured in this pre-draft process. A little surprised by that pick, but it is draft day, and so it's always full of surprises, although I don't think Myles Murphy's going to be the pick at number 9, but that's good for Pittsburgh because those tackles could fall, those corners could fall, could really put somebody good in our laps and potentially to trade up as well. So we're rooting for this to happen in real life. The Eagles at 10, the other Keystone State team. The Eagles will take Christian Gonzalez as the first corner. Goes off the board. He goes over Devon Witherspoon and Joey Porter Jr. Tigers fan 42 says stay at 17. Mike does not want a right tackle at 17. John says stay at 17. We'll see what happens. It's a little less interactive than I'd like it to be. Let me go ahead and end the poll. I'm going to put the image on screen again just to end the poll so I can actually see the results. That'll just take 2 seconds, I promise. We'll go ahead and end the poll, and we'll come right on back. This is my kind of an artful way to do it, but the way that we're still going to do it, all the same. So the poll results, let's see, 99 votes. Only you guys got to vote. 75% said no, 24% said yes. So most people want us to at least not trade up at pick 17. What do the Titans do at 11? Let's let them make their pick. And they take Broderick Jones. So the first offensive lineman off the board, not Paris Johnson Jr., not Peter Skoronski, but Broderick Jones, 1-year starter, really athletic, long tackle. And he'll go to Tennessee to replace Taylor Lewan. All right, we're going to roll on through here. Do you consider a trade up, though, for a Paris Johnson? That is going to be the thought. Ethan says, go get Paris Johnson right now. It's tempting. It is tempting. And we have some time here to figure this out. The Texans, though, will not take Paris Johnson. Although, I mean, the way that you would actually draft is you would trade with the Texans because the Jets might take him. The Jets, they may need a left tackle. And so you would be trading with a team ahead of the team that needs a left tackle. And so should we trade up to 12? What offers could we potentially explore here? If we gave 17 for pick 12, what should we potentially be doing here? When I get your guys' thoughts on that, because like Mike says, the Jets with Mekhi Becton not working out. I think George Fant got hurt late last year. Barrett Tucker was forced to kick out. What do you give up? I know some people won't like trades, some people will, and the poll just said don't do it. But I do want to potentially, what if it was, I'm worried about kind of breaking the system that was something unrealistic. It probably would be what it would be if you moved up right now. 49, I mean, it's only 5 spots, and so it's not as dramatic as it was when you went from 20 to 10 with Denver in 2019. So could you get away with pick 80? Would pick 80 do it? What about, let me throw the actual proposal out. So 17 and 80, which is our third round pick, for 12 to Houston to go get Parrish Johnson. What do you guys think about that? I won't put this one to a poll. I just want to get your guys' temperature here on that because we have a little bit of time right now. So if I went, it's pretty close on the trade value chart. A lot of yeses, more yeses than I thought there would be. 17 and 80 could get it done. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you don't have to give up 49 to only go up 5 spots right now. No trade. No. It's pretty split. This might have to be a poll thing, but I don't want to linger too much on any one pick. If the Jets don't take him, though, and if he fell, you could make a trade with New England, who loves trading back, just to go get him and probably only have to give up a 4th-round pick to do so, which I think is worth it at that point. I think it's pretty split, and so my rule of thumb is if it's split, we're not going to do it. We're going to roll the dice here, and we're going to see what the Jets do at 13, and if Johnson's still on the board, then we'll talk about it at that point. So, at pick 12, the Houston Texans select Josh Downs. Okay, these rankings are still not great. That's frustrating. I mean, it's not as crazy as Boutte at number 4, but Josh Downs at 12 is just, it's not letting me choose the rankings. It's not letting me choose, use this person's board that's been updated. And so I don't love that. I'm not going to, unless something goes ridiculous, I'm not going to start all over, in some regard, because it's not a conventional receiver class with a clear number 1 guy. I guess that's not the most insane thing in the world, but it is still obviously pretty crazy. So we're just going to power through. And like I said, that's kind of another reason why I want to do a mock with some other people, because how much do you trust the computer? So I'm leaning towards us probably doing a 3rd edition at this point. But you guys, I don't think would be too upset about a 3rd edition of a mock draft. So yeah, DHB, as you said, got drafted high. Tyson Alualu. I mean, there's picks over the years of guys that you thought were late 1st rounders to go higher. The Raiders always surprised Cleve Farrell at 4, years back, and so it's crazy, but it's the draft, and we'll have some fun. All right, let's get to pick 13. The Jets. We're not going to try to trade with them because they may take Parrish Johnson. Unrealistic to do so. Do they take Johnson? Skoronski still on the board. You got most of the top corners besides Christian Gonzalez there. Let's see what the pick is. Darnell Wright. They go tackle, but they go with Darnell Wright from Tennessee. And so the top 2 offensive linemen in this class, despite us talking about this whole time of Skoronski and Parrish Johnson being the first 2 guys, it's Jones and Wright. I like that. Kind of feels like a draft day thing where it's different, but not over the top unrealistic. So I think this is pretty fun. I mean, Wright would have been a consideration at 17, but Parrish Johnson's still there. So I don't know. I like it. Do you go up to 14 though? Go up to 14 with the Patriots. I think you got to talk to Belichick. You got to sit there and say, let's have a conversation. They love trading down. I mean, Belichick always does it. He does have a bunch of 4th-round picks already, but this would be 17 and 120. 17 and 120 for 14 to go get Parrish Johnson. Still have the top cornerbacks there, but the cornerback class is deep, and these guys are slipping a bit. That could be a thought at 32. Pats will take a corner. We could wait and just see if Parrish Johnson falls into our lap, considering 2 tackles are already gone. Steel Pastor says Baldy has Wright as the number 1 offensive tackle. Yeah, I saw that. He's a big fan of Darnell Wright. I think Wright's a good scheme fit in terms of what Pat Meyer coaches. People want me to stay. People were more excited and more interested in me trading up to Houston at 12 than at 14 with New England. So I'll wait. You guys said it. Fair enough. I will go ahead and wait here, and we'll see what the Patriots do. I have no idea. Let's go ahead and sim and find out. And there is Devin Witherspoon from Illinois. That feels like a Patriots-type pick, for sure. So that one, I think, tracks and makes us forget about what happened at number 12 with the Houston Texans. That's also a Texans thing to do, just something absurd. Show the rankings. I don't have a way to see the rankings in terms of, what the board is, I don't think. Without, clicking out and like maybe potentially probably stopping this mock draft. And so I don't want to see the rankings because I don't want to see what the board looks like for whatever board the computer is using. It's going to just make it more, I think, authentic. So the Packers at 15. I think at this point we just sit here and wait and just see what presents to us at pick number 17. But yeah, I think as Ultimate Elite just said, the board has fallen. Like if this happened in real life a week and a day from now, like I am pretty happy overall. Even if you sub in Josh Downs for Zay Flowers, which is more realistic, still principle remains all the same. So the Packers at number 15, they will take. There is Peter Skoronski, and so he'll stay in the area. Northwestern kid. That is a Packers pick right there. So I think the rankings are redeeming themselves a bit. And Kevin says this board's unreal. It is, but like the draft's crazy, and this draft is so lacking the top end names that I think you're going to see a lot of chaos, even more so than usual on draft day. Besides the quarterbacks kind of being settled 1, 2, and some other guys going top 5, like it's pretty wide open right now. So. Some difference, some excitement on draft day. It never goes the way we all think, for the last month. That never happens. So, we're going to have a really good discussion. We are on deck right now. Washington at 16. We'll see what Washington does, and then we are on the clock. And we don't have an official clock, so we can talk this one out. Although, I don't want to linger on any one pick too long. But Washington at 16, the pick that stands between us. And the Commanders select Brian Branch as the Steelers are now on the clock. And so Brian Branch, who I think would be in consideration for Pittsburgh if the board fell, I guess, quote-unquote, wrong. The board is wide open. I will scroll through some of the top names here. Paris Johnson Jr. is staring us right in the face. That one's going to be hard to pass up. What else do we have here? Defensive line, Brian Brzee. I'm just going to keep saying his name since I now can pronounce his name, I think, effectively. I think I don't think I even have to put this one to a poll, though. Although we have some corners. What about corners? Joey Porter Jr., Deonte Banks. What are we thinking here? I think in terms of like the names in consideration, just to talk this one out, it's Porter Jr., it's Banks, and probably indefinitely Paris Johnson Jr. So I think, though, the consensus is so clear, I won't even put this one to a poll and waste all of our time. The pick will be, and I can't believe this is happening, although, it's draft day and stranger things have happened and Darnell Wright's picking up steam. We're going to go Paris Johnson Jr., our pick at number 17. A little less dramatic than the live editions, but I'm happy all the same. So yeah, that is pretty wild. Now he's still a guy who's only played 1 year of football, really 1 year starting, and so the experience is a factor. And I like Dan more than most people, but it's hard to pass up that franchise stud left tackle. It's going to be Johnson left side. It's going to be a core 4 right side. It's going to be Dan Moore working swing guy, LaRaven Clark number 4. Feel a whole lot better about that room. And F483 says, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We got Paris Johnson. Let's go ahead and thumb through the rest of the round here relatively quickly. Deonte Banks going over Joey Porter Jr., which could happen on draft day. Can't rule that out. He goes 18 to Detroit, so the Lions get their corner after taking Jalen Carter at 6. Pretty good draft, I would say, for Dan Campbell. And who was that in Detroit? Brad Holmes, I believe. So that is the pick. And you guys, how about this? It only took me the second try for you guys to love my pick at 17. What a world. What a time. Thank you guys for being here. Hendon Hooker going 19 to Tennessee. And so the going to Tampa Bay from Tennessee, replacing Tom Brady. That is the pick there. At number 20, let's see what the Seahawks do. It's Kalijah Kancey. That feels like a Seattle pick at that interior, one gap shooter. So that's Kalijah Kancey from Pitt, who did not have a pre-draft visit. Very interesting. Did not have a single pre-draft visit. Kalijah Kancey saying that today. Am I doing a full draft? Probably. We might kind of skip to our pick towards the end just to speed things up. I don't want this to be 3 hours, especially if I'm going to do another mock draft that's probably going to take a lot more time. So you guys will get a double dip here. This one, it's exciting, but it just doesn't have the feel that I thought maybe it would, and I probably should have put more time into seeing how all this would go, but it's a very busy time in draft season. Bijan Robinson going 21 to the Chargers, and so we can pretend that Austin Eckler got traded here in some sort of draft day move, I suppose, for them to take Robinson. And the Ravens at 22, do they go Joey Porter Jr.? Do the Ravens take Joey Porter Jr.? Let's find out. No, they go receiver with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And so that makes a lot of sense if he were to fall, although I don't think he'll fall quite that far. But that is, a dream draft for the AFC North. For the Steelers to get Paris Johnson, for the Ravens to get Smith and Jigba. I think the AFC North teams right now are smiling. Although Pittsburgh having to cover him, might want to get a slot corner. If you got to deal with Smith and Jigba twice a year, and Pittsburgh's slot corner is, I don't know who the slot corner is. And so you probably want to find somebody there. Something to keep in mind as we go through the rest of this draft. Minnesota at 23. There goes Joey Porter Jr. to the Vikings to help replace Patrick Peterson. And so Troy just said to go get Porter. I'm sorry, he is off the board. I'm not going to trade back up in the first round. I just think the capital is going to be too costly there. So that's probably not going to be the move. Jacksonville at 24, Brian Brzee. I know that Dane Brugler had him in his latest mock draft, and so Brzee at 24. Quentin Johnston at 25 to the Giants. Getting ready to round out the first round here. As Wesley Hickok says, Jack Campbell at 32. Maybe. It's our draft. Again, we're not going to be beholden to anything the Steelers may actually do in real life. All right, so at pick 26, Zay Flowers going to Dallas. Yeah, let me know some thoughts on who you guys might want at 32. Start thinking about that for the second day of the NFL draft. So Buffalo, Jalen Hyatt, big receiver run here. Hyatt going higher, but, speedster, spread that defense out. They have Gabe Davis, so I don't know if Hyatt's the guy that they need, but we'll roll with it. We'll play ball. The Bengals at 28. What does Cincinnati do? And they go Lucas Van Ness, the edge from Iowa, who fell a bit. He was a rotational guy, never became the full-time starter with the way that Iowa kind of does things with their depth charts and seniority. But Van Ness, good value at 28. And with the final three picks, it's going to be the Saints at 29. Banks is gone. Yes, Paul, let me just scroll up here so you guys can see if you just joined the picks so far. And it's Young and Stroud at the top. Nolan Smith at 5. Gonzalez being the first corner off the board. Josh Downs, the big surprise at 12. Us getting Paris Johnson at 17. Hooker going to the Bucks at 19. Smith and Jigba to Baltimore 22. And Van Ness to the Bengals at 28. All right, so Grant, what are you saying about the Iowa stuff here and that not being true? I might be incorrect on something, so feel free to correct me. As Mike Adesso says, Darnell Washington at 32. Saints at 29 go Will McDonald, the edge from Iowa State. And the Eagles at number 30 as... Yeah, the corner's been going, Daryl. Corner to certainly consider here at 32. As the edge run continues. So it's receivers and then pass rushers with Felix Anaduke Uzama from Kansas State. A little sleeper, a little sneaky first-round pick there, but you got to get those late first-round picks. I think this year you're going to see guys that are viewed day 2 that go late day 1. This happens kind of in most years. Peyton Turner, Cole Strange, you kind of get that more up-in-the-airness late on day number 1, I think especially in a class like this. What else do we have here? Discussing Campbell. Okay, as long as I'm getting something correct, then feel free. I like Jack Campbell a whole lot. I think a guy that I will consider at 32 is going to be Jack Campbell, and I like Josh Downs as well. Notorious Nate, have a video on him on the channel. But you can go ahead and check that one out. All right, and with the final pick in the first round, the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs select the name that I cannot pronounce all that well, but what do they call him? Tomey from Northwestern. And so the big run on pass rushers, which again, I think the board really working pretty well. I mean, Pittsburgh needs edge depth, but probably was not going to take any of these names here at 32. And so we are on the clock here, top of the second round at pick 32. I don't think I get trade offers. Should I trade down? It's kind of hard to know what to trade down. Let's look at the board here in terms of the overall big board. Jordan Addison, and we did this in our last mock. He's there. The Michael Mayer, Dalton Kincaid, Osiris Torrance, Darnell Washington. I'm a big fan of Washington. Mazzie Smith, Emmanuel Forbes, Cam Smith, Keely Ringo, Drew Sanders, Trent Simpson. There's Jack Campbell, John Michael Schmitz, Keon White. A lot of great names here for Pittsburgh. So this one's going to have to go to a poll for sure. What do you guys think here? We're going to make the pick. We're not going to trade back. I'm not even sure how that would work, all that well with a computer right now. Julius Brent's there. We got to have some finalists. I'm going to put together some names here in terms of who we should take. Obviously, with the Allen Robinson deal, maybe Addison looking even less likely. But I think corner, D-line, you got Jack Campbell. I'm a personal favorite of him there. And then Darnell Washington, too. So I think what we got to do here is put this one to a poll. Let me go ahead and pull up the top corners here. I like Brent's a lot. You guys are saying Forbes, Cam Smith. I like Cam Smith, too. He's not really gotten any love from Pittsburgh in this pre-draft process. I don't know why, but he really hasn't. I know they've shown interest in Keely Ringo. Is the stream still okay? I just had a weird buffer there. Is the stream still good? I'll look at the overall picks, too. I'll kind of scroll through the first round recap. As we look at the first round, I assume the stream is good. Otherwise, I probably would have gotten some messages about it. Okay. All right, let me put this to a poll. So I'm going to put the image back on screen. I'm going to throw in a couple names, and I'll do whatever the poll says. You guys can make this pick. So let me go ahead and throw in 4 names for you guys. All right, so I'll throw in 4 names in terms of who we're going to take at pick number 17. I'm still getting an error message from YouTube, but I guess it's okay. Or pick at 32. If I can type. So we're going to go with 4 names here. I'm going to look away at the chat here for just 1 second. I can add a couple of options for you guys. We'll say Emmanuel Forbes. And who should be the 4th one in there? We'll go with Julius Brent. So let me go and ask you guys. And I'm sure I won't get every single person that you want in here, but I'm going to just throw the names up there. And whatever the poll says, I'll end it in a minute or two. Will end up being our pick. And so let me get back to the Walk the Mock screen for you guys. And so that's going to be the poll, whatever you guys want to do. I know you guys might not all love the selections that I put in there. I only have 4 names, so you're going to have to pick one of the 4. I can't put everybody in there for you guys. So I'll whittle the list down some, and then you guys take it from there. And again, this is what we would do, not what the Steelers would do. So even if Pittsburgh hasn't shown interest in the guy, doesn't mean we can't put him on the list. I just kind of picked 4, I guess, of the names that I like, although I kind of feel a little less excited about Emmanuel Forbes, but you guys seem to like him a fair amount. So you guys let me know. I'm sure you guys, this is where the debate starts. We all had the holding hands at 17, and now you guys start disliking me at 32, but that is how it goes. Review list of players taken. You can see it here. These are the recent picks in terms of the edge guys running. The receivers just ran. Brzez's off the board. Porter's off the board. Canty's off the board. Banks off the board. Brian Branch off the board. So overkill at tight end. Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh did bring him in. Not that we're focused on that, but just to talk about some of the reality for a second while I let you guys go ahead and vote in the poll. Slot corner. Yeah, I think slot corner certainly has not been talked about enough as a need. It's a big issue for this team right now, and especially in this mock when you see Smith and Jigba go to Baltimore. So I'm going to wrap up the poll here in just a moment, so get your final votes in, and whoever is leading the vote will be our pick. And that's going to have to be our pick, and don't get mad at me. Get mad at the poll. So trading back is possible. I know some people like Michael Mayer, but I like Darnell Washington a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the poll. I don't even know what the results are. I can't see it from the current window that I'm at. So I'll end things, and then we'll see what the pick is. So we're going to go ahead and end the poll. And our pick is going to be, once I look at it, it is going to be Darnell Washington with 37% of the vote, 145 votes total. Campbell Brents had 22% each. Emmanuel Forbes had 17%. And so, Grant, I'm sorry. You will have to be mad here. The people have spoken. And so, Darnell Washington will be the pick at number 32 as the Pittsburgh Steelers start playing some bully ball. So there you go. And we got some angry comments. Let the anger flow through. I want to see all the angry comments. You guys aren't going to love everything, but that is the beauty of draft day. As Mike says, that's for Uncle Dave. That's for both of us. I'd be okay with that. If the offense changes in a way that utilizes Washington in multiple tight end sets. So I know some of you guys don't like it, but hey, a lot of people voted for it, so some people have to like this one. So Engler's Tape says excellent pick. Great draft so far. All right, we're going to start rolling through the picks here. We get another second rounder, or other second round picks coming up here pretty soon. So, and right off the board, the Texans saying don't take Michael Mayer, or they either love Darnell Washington, and so Mayer goes at 33 overall. Cardinals going Anton Harrison. Cam Smith, the corner we had some consideration at 32, goes to the Colts. And so Kenyatta says Drew Sanders, really wants Drew Sanders. He might be there at 49. Sanders could certainly be there. Cody Mock going to the Rams. Seattle, what does Seattle do here with their second round pick? Yeah, trading up. Who would we trade up for? I'm not sure if there's one name that I really want to go get right now. So Seattle will take Jordan Addison. And so finally Addison's bit of a draft day slide ends. Thomas says Forbes would have been the choice. That's possible. But our picks right now, Parrish Johnson Jr. and Darnell Washington. Let me scroll down a little bit. The Raiders select Clark Phillips III, one of the top slot corners in this draft. Mazi Smith is still there. So top of the board right now, Kincaid, Torrance, Mazi Smith, Gibbs, Forbes, Ringo, Sanders, Dawan Jones, Trenton Simpson, Jack Campbell, B.J. Ojolari, John Michael Schmitz, Keon White, Luke Musgrave, and Steve Avila round out these rankings top 50. So that is the pick. Clark Phillips, Carolina, will select Dalton Kincaid, and the Saints will follow that up with Mazi Smith. And so those who wanted him, you will not get your wish. So I'm sorry, but that is going to be the pick as the Titans are now on the clock. Mazi with Hayward and Ogunjobi is insane. Yeah, it'd be a really strong front. John Michael Schmitz still there. Wouldn't look bad in a Steelers uniform. You guys know I'm a fan of him, but I'm also, happy with what Mason Cole did last year. Jack Campbell's still there. Jack Campbell, not someone that I want to maybe, lose here. Lar Vol says Branch will be pick 1. Book it. Mr. ABS talking about Ringo being a safety. Yeah, he looked tight on tape. So, yeah, DBs. Thought corner would be the play, but so far, going in a different direction. How about this? Very offensive heavy here. Very offensive heavy with these first 2 picks. Cedric Tillman going to Tennessee, so a lot of receivers starting to go here. Followed by there's Jack Campbell to the Jets with one of their 2 back-to-back second-round picks. And so Jack Campbell, he is off the board. And the Jets, the other card they turn in is Emmanuel Forbes. And so the cornerback room looking just a little bit thinner. As Keely Ringo, Julius Brents, DJ Turner, who I like, a fair amount, and I was hoping Pittsburgh would have more interest in him. Tyreek Stevenson, also there. Garrett Williams, coming off the torn ACL. Darius Rush, one of my favorite guys in the entire class. Torrance is not lasting this long, probably, but there's always one guy that falls on draft. Listen, last year, and I'll eat crow for this, if I told you that Malik Willis would be a 3rd-round pick, if we were doing a mock draft simulation and Willis did not go into the 3rd round, we would have said this is the worst simulation ever, and you got to throw it out and start the whole thing over. And obviously that happened. And so, you never know. Do I think Torrance falls this far? No, but you never know. And that's what makes the draft a whole lot of fun. So the Falcons here will take Drew Sanders. And so the individual who wanted Drew Sanders, I'm sorry, will not get your wish. Yeah, and then Sam Howell going 5th round again. Quarterback was a unique thing last year. You're not going to see anything this extreme this year, barring something Laramie Tunsil-esque happening. But the draft is fun, and so we'll just enjoy it along the way, as long as it's not, Kayshon Boutte at number 4 overall. BJ Ojulari to Green Bay. As F4 says, I think slot corner should be a priority at this point. DJ Turner, to me, if Turner is there, he can play inside, play outside. He's got speed. He's physical for his size. DJ Turner, I think, is a really strong guy to consider at pick number 49, it would be. All right, the Patriots. What do the Pats do? And they go Rashee Rice. The receivers are really probably going earlier than they should, but we're gonna just look past that one there. Yeah, Notorious Nate mentioning Jalen Hurts and Creed Humphrey. Again, just all examples of the unpredictability of the NFL draft. As Chelsea really wants Brents, Mike says Ringo, Washington says Dawan Jones. And so we are on deck. We're coming up really quick here. I didn't even realize that. So the Lions only stand between us and our pick. As corners certainly will be considered for those wondering where the corners are at. I promise you, I don't know if we're going to wait too much longer on a corner, but I'll put the rest of these picks to polls. And so you guys will end up, driving the bus here because this is your draft as much as it is mine. But what do the Lions do? What have the Lions taken so far? They've had 2 picks. They took Deonte Banks and they took Jalen Carter. And so the Lions here select, there is Osiris Torrance off the board at 48 overall. And so the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock. And so I'm going to do a quick recap of some of the notable picks here. I'm going to just scroll through the picks here in this draft. So hopefully you guys can get an idea of who has been taken so far. Let me scroll back up. And we'll put a poll out. Trenton Simpson is there from the off-ball linebackers. I'll run through some of the top names. And then I'll put 4 names to a poll. You guys choose. Whoever gets the most votes becomes the pick. That's the way we're going to do these things. And, let you guys get as involved as possible. Click on the all button for the poll. I will do that for you. And we'll scroll through the top names. You guys do that. And also, if you could like the stream, I would really appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel. So, Jamar Gibbs, not going to be in consideration. Keely Ringo, Trenton Simpson, John Michael Schmitz, Keon White, Luke Musgrave, Steve Avila, Isaiah Foskey, Antonio Johnson, Julius Brents, DJ Turner to me. I love Derek Hall too. Edge rusher. What's behind TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith? Someone wants me to put Dayon Henley on there. Let's see. John Michael Schmitz says Braden Keanu Benton, another name. Cornerbacks. We're going to see some cornerbacks in this poll. So I'm just trying to get a feel for what you guys are saying, and then I'll kind of put the names together. I think DJ Turner makes a lot of sense here. I don't think he's going to win in a poll. I won't put him in the poll because I don't think anybody seems super interested besides me in DJ Turner. So I'm going to go ahead and put the poll in for you guys. Let me go back to our image screen here, handy dandy screen for you guys. And I will put in 4 names for the pick at 49. And again, Paris Johnson and Darnell Washington are names so far. Keely Ringo will be one of the names for you guys to potentially choose from. What else should I put in here for you guys? We'll put in a different position, and we'll put in one offensive player for you guys. And so the poll is up. We'll give it a minute, let you guys vote. Be sure to get your vote in early. I'm not going to wait 5 minutes for the poll results to come in. So get out there and vote. And whoever you guys decide will be the pick at pick 49 after taking Paris Johnson at 17 and Darnell Washington at number 32. Ringo could play safety, and then Ringo feels like Burns. C really wants Henley, the big coverage linebacker, former receiver, Nevada to Washington State. Ringo's Burns 2.0. Brent's by a landslide. I'm just going to read some of the comments here. Kenyatta says DJ Turner matches up too well. We got one in the DJ Turner fan club. He might be my pick here, but I'll let you guys decide. KJ Beat says you guys are horrible. Oh, it's fine. It's a mock draft. It's all good. We're having fun here. Having a good time. Should have had a D-line on the poll. Yeah, that's true. Maybe you trade back up for a defensive lineman. Benton, Dexter. I like Carl Brooks. Maybe you wait on that. I mean, Keon White does make sense. He was in for a visit. Again, not focusing on what this team will do, but you want to consider that. And he's at the draft. And so that could be kind of the late 28-ish overall type of guy. So the names are up. Steve says, love that I found this on YouTube. Big Terrible Podcast listener. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you being here. Can I put in a position after the player's name? I should. I apologize. I should do that. There is a character limit, but I should be able to put in the position. So it's Brents and Ringo, who are cornerbacks. Trenton Simpson, an off-ball linebacker, kind of a hyper athlete kind of guy. And then also John Michael Schmitz, who's a center who has the size to play guard as well. So 2 corners in Brents Ringo, an off-ball linebacker in Simpson, and then John Michael Schmitz, interior offensive line. So I'm going to end the poll here in just about 10 seconds. So get your last second votes in for our pick. And whatever the poll says, I will do. I will put in whatever name gets the most there. And Sebastian, yes, Julius Brents was brought in for a pre-draft visit. And so there is your interest. So I'm going to end the poll. And I think I already know who the winner is, but let me go ahead and pull up the results here for you guys and put the Walk the Mock screen back on. And in pretty convincing fashion with 157 votes, Julius Brents is going to be the pick, 49%. Keely Ringo, 27%. Trenton Simpson, 14%. John Michael Schmitz at 8%. And so the pick will be Julius Brents, the long corner from Kansas State. Finally getting our cornerback, probably a little bit later than we thought, but it is a strong and deep cornerback class. I think that kind of highlights with Brent still there, Ringo still there, Turner, Tyreek Stevenson still there. And so those are all worthwhile names and names that Pittsburgh has shown interest in. And so the recap so far, Paris Johnson at 17, the tackle from Ohio State, Darnell Washington at 32, the tight end from Georgia, and Julius Brents, the corner from Kansas State, at 49. And so you get him. You finally take a cornerback early. Finally take a tackle early. You're loving how this draft is going. So move on through here. With Gibbs being the pick after us. You got Hooker with the first-round pick to Tampa Bay. And now going Gibbs in the second round. Go back to all. I will do that, Steven. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys see something you want me to click, and if I'm missing something, then please do so. Considering trading up here to get maybe a defensive lineman, maybe a Keanu Benton. How about trading up for Keanu Benton? You guys in favor of that? I don't know what I would be giving up. I don't know what team, but I do like the idea. Edge rusher, also a consideration, especially with Bud Dupree signing in Atlanta. So Seattle takes Trenton Simpson. And so I think the mock listens to us. They hear the names we're talking about. And Simpson goes right after making our pick of Julius Brents. So the Dolphins at 21. They go Keely Ringo. Yeah, the mock definitely. Walk the Mock is listening in. There's a mole in the chat right now, I think. All right, the Chargers will take Keon White from Georgia Tech. And that could be in real life, a late first round type sleeper. As Tanner says, he likes the idea of Benton. So does Chelsea. Brian wants Carl Brooks, a better pass rusher. Danny says Carl Brooks looks good at 80 in his opinion. Yeah, you got some of those tackles in Fehoko and Watts and Adams, long-term type of guys, but you do have some names there where you feel like somebody's going to emerge there. I think Watts especially is a guy that could stick. All right, the Bears. As we pick, it's going to be a little bit for our pick here, pick 80, so we'll be waiting 30 or so picks. As Tuli to Pluto, that's a pronunciation I'm going to have to work on. Pittsburgh showed some interest in him, kind of a heavy-handed power rusher, played kind of a Bud Dupree weight, 260-something, and so not as athletic, obviously, but that's kind of the mold. Lions, busy here as they take Isaiah Foskey, and the Jaguars go DJ Turner from Michigan. Skip the pick right now. Yeah, I'm going to go through these pretty quick here. I just like to talk this out, and we'll start going faster. Eli Ricks, John Michael Schmitz to Dallas, a great pick there. Steve Avila going to Buffalo. Darius Rush to the Bengals, a nice draft so far for Cincinnati. Bears taking one of my guys, Marvin Mims. Talk about playmaker, speed. That is Marvin Mims. Sam Laporta going to Philadelphia. That feels like an Eagles-type pick, kind of a yak threat. Blake Freeland, the tall tackle and really athletic tackle from BYU. So Benton's still there. Do you talk to Chicago and say, hey, do you go trade up for a Keanu Benton? Let's say hello to the Bears and see what maybe we could offer them. We give them, it's tough. It'd probably be a future pick. Giving up a 4th and then nothing until the 7th just seems crazy. Do you give up, next year's 4th might not be enough. Yeah, next year's 3rd feels too rich to go get Benton. I don't think we're in the position right now to make that trade. If you had that 5th, 6th round pick, maybe a trade that, honestly, you take this 3rd round pick and move down. I think that might be a move here if you go down 10 spots. I really want to bridge that gap from, that 5th, 6th round void, and so that might be the better option. So I think you guys have convinced me of that. So I'm going to go ahead and run through these picks here in pretty rapid fashion. Tyler Steen, Derek Hall, that's a guy that I really would have considered at pick 80, but the odds of him making it there, truthfully, are pretty low. Luke Musgrave coming off the injury. Andre Carter from Army, the big lanky edge. And the Broncos take their 2nd pick with Matthew Bergeron. Tyree Stevenson goes to the Rams. Joe Tippmann, the tall athletic center from Wisconsin, goes to the Raiders. Antonio Johnson to the Saints. Byron Young, the Tennessee version, not the Alabama version. He goes to Tennessee. He stays in Tennessee, I should say. Yes, Houston takes, there goes Keanu Benton. And so that one hurts. But I just felt like I did not have the capital to trade up. Maybe you could have done it a little bit later with Tennessee, but Benton is gone. Ethan says to consider the Michigan center. Yeah, the center's not been talked about enough. Tippmann, Patterson from Notre Dame, the Michigan kid, Juice Scruggs from Penn State. It's a pretty strong, to me, center class. $2 super chat. Our first super chat of the night comes from DTG108. Just got here. Please tell me how you got Paris Johnson Jr. with 17. I don't know. I just sat there and clicked the buttons, and he was there. And so it's the NFL draft. You can't say it's a 0% chance. You never know what might happen on draft day, but not asking questions. Just happy that it happened. So Wes says he would have fired me for taking Washington. Fair enough. It's harsh but fair, and I accept the criticism. How do you say that? Zach Charbonnet, I guess, from UCLA. As Kareem Hunt out the door in Cleveland. As the Browns are here, by the way. Browns picking. That's something. As Henley, so I'm sorry for our friend who was the big day on Henley fan. I understand that, but he is now an Atlanta Falcon. As Siaki Ika, the big plugger nose tackle. 330 pounds. Pittsburgh brought him in for a visit. He goes to New England. Yes, Dexter's still there. Let me, we'll go, we're almost on the clock here. I'll go through all the names once we're on the clock. Let me just get to our pick. Tanner McKee. Going to the Rams. 3rd round. How about that? A.T. Perry, the smart wide receiver from Wake Forest, to Green Bay. And the lone pick ahead of us right now is going to be the Colts. And so, yeah, Ika is certainly a Patriots pick for sure. And the Colts take Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State, who Jonathan Heitrader's kind of had a loose comparison to a Travis Kelce type of guy. So we are on the clock at pick number 80. I really think trading down is a consideration because to actually get some good value 5th, 6th round, are you guys cool with at least trying to explore some trade downs? I don't know how it's going to look in terms of what team. The top names here: Jordan Battle, Jervon Dexter, Sidney Brown, Luke Weipler, Tank Dell, J.L. Skinner. I can kind of go through some of the D-line names more specifically. Dexter, Harrison, Carl Brooks, Zach Pickens. It's starting to get pretty thin there. Some more edge types in McGuire and Yaya Diaby, who's a 3-4 range, who's going to stand up at the next level. Trade down. Okay. I don't know how this is going to work. Have you trade partners make an offer? All right, hold on. This is gonna be a little bit different. I probably am good. I want to get a fourth. I want to get a fifth or sixth round pick, or maybe I don't know another fourth or something. And so Dexter might be there. I want to trade down here. I do want to trade down. So let's go down maybe, I don't know, 10 or so spots. Let's just call up Jerry Jones and say, you want to do something here? Let's kind of look at some teams. I don't know who has good capital to trade with. Could I get, maybe they go up 10 spots for their fifth and sixth. Is that a fair trade? I think the totals add up, pretty equivalent. So I don't feel like I'm stealing this pick. But you guys can tell me. So go down 10 spots to get a 5 and a 6 from Dallas. What do you guys think about that? That seems fair. I mean, just for trying to do this with a computer, it says reasonable offer, so they validated the pick there. Fleece him for a fourth? No, I'm not going to fleece him for a fourth. That's not realistic. And now we have to assume they accept. I don't know if they're going to accept. They may very well just sit here and say, no, buzz off, Alex. And so we may be at this for a while, but I'm going to try this. And hopefully the Dallas will accept. So it'll be pick, 80 for pick 90 and a fifth and a sixth, and the Cowboys accept. And so we have traded down. And so we have some new picks in our first trade of the draft. I really feel like Omar Khan's going to do something to bridge that, fifth, sixth round gap. And so it always accepts. Okay. I didn't know if it always accepted or not, but I think our deal was fair. So Dallas, what does Dallas do with the pick they're going up for? They have taken Devin Achane, the running back, the speedster from Texas A&M, as maybe their eventual replacement for Tony Pollard. And of course, Ezekiel Elliott is gone. So yeah, I did give them more value. David says I'm fired. We're running the whole gamut here. I've never even tried to trade in this with a computer before. So let's go through the picks here, as I love getting our fifth and sixth round pick. Make this more fun. And there goes Dexter. There goes Gervon Dexter again. Somebody's listening in. Somebody's listening in saying, go take the guys that we were considering. And so Dexter is off the board, followed by Jalen Duncan, Jordan Battle, Luke Weipler, Tank Dell, seeing a bit more BPA here, Jacorian Bennett, who I know Grant had talked about earlier, Sidney Brown from Illinois, who I would have had interest in, Tyler Scott, one of the two Cincinnati Bearcat receivers. As Notorious Nate says, passing on Gervon Dexter will be the single greatest mock mistake Alex has ever made. So there you go on that. And the pick ahead of us, the New York Giants. It is Garrett Williams, the corner from Syracuse, coming off the torn ACL. So we are on the clock. Could trade down again. Could pull a Bill Belichick and just keep going back and back and back. Looking at the board here. Yeah, Notorious Nate. I know you're joking. Yeah, I gotcha. It's all good. Anyone who's not joking, and criticizing me, it's a mock draft. It's fine. Have fun, but it's also not going to hurt my feelings. I've heard it all at this point doing these mock drafts over the years. So looking at the big board, just the top names overall based on their rankings. Tyjae Spears, who obviously we will not take. J.L. Skinner, Zach Harrison. Defensive line, certainly something to look at here. Defensive line has not been addressed yet. I like Carl Brooks a lot. You got Quan Martin, Jamie Robinson, there's Brooks, Jair Brown, Jonathan Mingo. Still could be an option. Allen Robinson, probably only a Steeler for 2023. So you can't rule that out completely, even if it's a hard fit to start in year one for Mingo. Pickens, Chris Smith. How do you say his name? Henry Toa, something like that. Hodges Tomlinson, slot corner. Talked about the need there. That's a big thing for me right now. And that's kind of the top names. Jaden Reed, Nick Herbig, Riley Moss, Caillou Blue Kelly, although just took a cornerback. So let me look at the chat here. You guys, throw some names out there so I can kind of formulate who you guys might want here included in the poll. So I think Carl Brooks will be one of those four. You got Hodges Tomlinson, Zach Pickens, Herbig. Steelers would actually take Herbig here. Yeah, that seems like something Pittsburgh would actually do. Hold on, the chat just died on me. All right, we're good. We're back. Jonathan Mingo, Harrison. Yeah, I'd be shocked if Mingo fell this far too. I don't expect him. I expect him to be maybe even a round 2 pick, but not get to. This is pick 90 now. Martin or Mingo, Herbig, some Byron Young, love. All right, we're gonna put this to a poll for you guys. So we're gonna go back to our our image while I can go type everything in. And so the poll, we'll put 4 names. Vote early, vote often. I'll put position markers as well. So the pick at 90. We'll go, I'll tell you Carl Brooks will be one of them. And I'll let you guys know the others in just a moment as I put the other. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on. Disregard this poll. I hit the wrong button. I'm going to end the poll. My bad. I meant to put 4 names on there. I hit the wrong button. So you guys get a sneak preview of the other name I was going to put on there. All right. Trying to multitask. So we have Carl Brooks, Jonathan Mingo, who you already saw. Let's not hit the submit button. I might run out of characters here. And what should we do for the last one? Let's see what we have here for you guys. I know everyone's waiting. Just give me 1 second. I gotta think of like the 4th name to put on there, and I'm kind of losing the 4th name that I want to include on this list. Somebody throw out just one other name here real quick while I try to think of something else to put there for you guys. All right, fair enough. I got the 4th one. I like Kobe Turner. Tyler Wise has a report on him coming up here. He was Richmond to Wake Forest. So, all right, the 4 names are up, and you guys vote, and whoever gets the most votes will be our pick. Again, trading down from 80 to 90 with Dallas picking up a 5 and a 6. A recap of the picks so far: Paris Johnson Jr., Darnell Washington, and Julius Brents. And now the trade down, and now the pick. And so the options here are Carl Brooks, Jonathan Mingo, Hodges Tomlinson from TCU, and Zach Harrison. So 2 defensive linemen, a receiver, and a slot corner. Because I don't know who's playing slot corner right now. It's not Julius Brents. It's not going to be Patrick Peterson. Not going to be Levi Wallace. Might have to be Minka. He didn't love that in 2021. So those are the names. I will say with Carl Brooks, him not being at the combine, being that snub, is that going to impact his stock at all? Not getting the medical, not being around that environment as much? Something to consider. Yeah, we have no slot corner. You're right. We do not have a slot corner. Yeah, Brooks is not a nose tackle. He's like a 3 tech. Now he's played on the edge. I mean, he's kind of been, he's moved around. He's not Leal though. I think he's more defined than what Leal was. My thoughts on Harrison, I haven't watched him too much. I watched him at the end of the Maryland game when I was watching Jalen Duncan, and Harrison just schooled Duncan with some power rushes. I feel like he's a guy that's never quite developed, didn't have the production that maybe some of the talent had, and the size is kind of tweenerish. He's got some length, the weight, he's got to probably add some weight, but kind of a power guy that's got to put it all together seems to be my read on Zach Harrison, but I did not do the deep dive into him. Brooks, a guy that can learn under Cam. Harrison, the best available. So you guys will let us know. Be sure to get your last second votes in. I'm about to end the poll, and whoever wins will be our pick. So going 2 offense, 1 defense so far. Will it be a receiver with Jonathan Mingo? Will it be a defensive lineman? I have not looked at the results. And so get your votes in because I am ending the poll in about 10 seconds. And so the pick is, as I go ahead and end the poll, I think I already know who the winner seems to be. Put the screen back up for you guys. And with 121 votes, Carl Brooks is going to be the pick, 51%. Mingo, 19%. Hodges Tomlinson, also 19%. And Harrison at 9%. Carl Brooks can wait till the 7th. I don't think Brooks is going to wait till the 7th. But let me go ahead and find his name and make him the newest Pittsburgh Steeler, and he might be one on day 2, day 3 of the draft in real life. Pittsburgh showing a lot of interest in Carl Brooks. My thoughts on Riley Moss: fast, athletic, intelligent guy. Talked to him at the Senior Bowl. Pittsburgh, I had a pro day dinner with him and probably some other Iowa guys as well. And so a name, it's just probably going to be where corner's already been addressed by then. It's a little bit less likely, but there's some interest there. All right, Buffalo taking J.L. Skinner as we get back to our picks, and I'll go through these pretty quickly. In this mock, he always goes late. Okay, well, I don't want to game the system too much of like this guy always falls, and so let him fall and get crazy value. Hey, there's our friend Keishon Butte, Quan Martin, and Jaden Reed, who I thought would have been a real like Steelers likely pick before the Allen Robinson deal. There goes Zach Harrison to Arizona, and there goes Jonathan Mingo to Washington. So again, we are being spied on right now. Yes, I think Keitrell Clark is still on the board at 4. Hutchinson from Iowa State. Pittsburgh looked at him. Jamie Robinson, Jair Brown, Jarrett Patterson. There goes Riley Moss. And starting the top of the 4th round. So just to recap our picks so far, Paris Johnson Jr. at 17 fell right into our laps. Darnell Washington at 32. Julius Brents at 49. A trade down with Dallas, getting a 5th and 6th to move down 10 spots and coming away with Carl Brooks. And so it's tackle, tight end, corner, D-line to start round 4. All right, going to go through the 4th round here. There goes Hodges Tomlinson, and there goes Keitrell Clark. And so the slot corners, the slot corners are starting to look thinner, and it was not all that great to start. As Chase Rose says, we do not have a backup center. You're right. That's a fair point. That's why we traded down. That's why we got a 5th and a 6th to fill some of these holes. That's how we moved down. Voorhees, who's got that torn ACL, but put up 38 on the bench at the Combine. Chris Smith, one of my favorite underrated guys, but he is small and did not test well. Where do we pick? 120, so we got about 10 more picks to go. No more Millette on passing downs. You and me both. Nate, Zach Pickens. Emilio says, liking the draft so far. Yeah, you guys let me know. I'll have a poll at the end for this, but just an informal poll. Give me a letter grade. Give me a letter grade of how you would grade this draft so far. Paris Johnson, Washington, Brent, and Brooks. Is it an A? Is it an F? Something in between. I'm not going to put this to a poll until after we're done with all of our picks, but just let me know how you think we're doing right now as I click through the other names. Brian says A. KJ says C-. Noah Sewell goes to the Jets. Inside linebacker, something for us to consider here. Jaron Hall. Pittsburgh brought him in for a visit. The quarterback from BYU. As Roy goes to LSU. Some C-, some B+. It seems to be, if you had to give it an average, I'm looking like maybe B, but it's kind of run the gamut from A to B+ to C-. So, fair enough. Trey Palmer, Nebraska. Roschon Johnson, one of my dudes this year. Behind Bijan Robinson, former great high school quarterback. Roschon Johnson was put up some crazy numbers. Tank Bigsby to the Patriots. This feels like a very New England type of draft. Washington, we'll take Michael Wilson, who had a really strong Senior Bowl game performance. And the team before us, Washington, this will be at 119, as I'm seeing some C's and a B+ from James. Albie Corky is the Illinois cornerback on the board. Brown is gone. I believe I don't know if Quan Martin's there or not. We'll check in a second. Steel Pastor says C+. C- says Mike. All right, let's see what the Vikings do. They take Nick Herbig, and so that might have been our pick right there. And so Herbig gone right out under our nose. That is the thrill of the draft. The edge as well, yeah. Troy, you're right. Edge rusher, big void there, no question about that. Although I think, you got Leal that can kind of do some different things, and Brooks maybe could be capable as well. But yeah, Nick Herbig being gone, as I'll go to the big board here. It's a lot of running backs here. Caillou Blue Kelly, Isaiah McGuire on the edge is a big power edge with some bend. Parker Washington. I'm going to have to kind of click through these by positions, I think. Now, Zavala from NC State. What else do we have here? Let me go ahead and click through by positions in terms of stuff that we might need. We'll start here with linebacker, DeMarvion Overshawn. I think he was a safety that moved down to linebacker. Dorian Williams from Tulane. Ivan Pace from Cincinnati, a really effective blitzer. Those are kind of the names there. DeMarco Hellum says KJ Beats. Yeah, we got to try to find a consensus on like a top 4 for you guys to look at. We'll look at cornerback as well. If I click around here, what are some slot capable corners? Maybe you guys could help me some in terms of some of these names. Anthony Johnson from Iowa State, Starling Thomas the 5th from UAB, Stromberg, Dennis, Dorian Williams. Yeah, Herbig being gone, he would have been in the poll at the least. Yeah, the slot corners, I think Anthony Johnson's a name to talk about. He's not, as small. Avila, long gone, that is for sure. Avilia's gone, guys. He's long gone. I mean, if he was even there, I wouldn't take him because it's so unrealistic to believe he'd be a 4th-round pick. Stromberg, although it's really just Jay saying Stromberg over and over again. I would outside corner with Trice and Blue Kelly with Brent's already there. It just seems redundant to do. Dorian Williams. Let's see what else we have. I'm trying to find a list of 4. Williams. We'll put the center on there for you. Trying to see what other 2 names we might be able to consider. If I can find maybe just one more interior offensive lineman. All right, I think I got the 4. I'm going to put it to a poll now for you guys. And you guys let me know the pick at... What are we at right now? Pick at 120? Pick at 120. It's going to be... I can't believe Herbig went off the board 1 pick ahead of us. That is just crazy. Let's add another option. Give me 1 second. And we'll put the 4th name on there. Yeah, we're getting into the weeds here. We're getting into kind of the draft nerdy, not all the household names anymore. So you guys, let me know. The poll is up. Poll is live. Vote early. Get your vote cast. And whoever you guys decide will be our pick at number 120. Steel Pastor says Daniel Scott. Yeah, I like Scott, just an older prospect. Andre Carter is gone, by the way. Andre Carter is gone. Fehoko is still there. So the names, as you guys can see, are going to be Dorian Williams, the inside linebacker from Tulane. Ricky Stromberg, the center from Arkansas. Chandler Zavala, the guard from NC State. And Anthony Johnson, the slot safety from Iowa State. So those are the names. Yeah, Edge as well. What great! I could have put an Edge guy. Yeah, better go find a veteran. I guess. Maybe I should have considered that more. Although I don't know. Baldonado from Pitt. I mean, that makes sense. After him, there really is not a lot of great Edge names. So yeah, that's why I put Anthony Johnson on there. He could try to play the slot, but in terms of the slot corners, I mean, again, no one talks about slot corner. We're all talking about the outside guys because Pittsburgh has shown interest in all the outside guys. But I'm gonna double dip at corner if I'm gonna double dip anywhere, or take Brian Branch, who can play strong safety, can come down and play the slot. That is such a need for this team right now, and I'm afraid this team's gonna ignore it because they did that in 21, relying on Millette and Antoine Brooks and making Minka play out of position there. And so we just saw this team ignore this critical area 2 years ago, and it's a big problem. They've never really adequately replaced Mike Hilton, and then you had Cam Sutton doing some of that last year on pass downs, and of course Sutton is now gone in Detroit, and so that is a big concern there. Nick Hampton, yeah, we just had a report on Hampton. I have not studied his tape. I know some people like him from App State. Does he have the size? Is the concern there? So let's see. Andre Carter got a provision to play in the NFL, assuming he's in the NFL. So I think he's allowed to. He can avoid the service time there. So this should be. I don't know the results. I want to see what the results are. We're going to end the poll and make our pick here at number 120. And so with the pick, it is going to be Dorian Williams with 100 votes on the dot. Dorian Williams, 46%. Anthony Johnson, 27%. Ricky Stromberg, 21%. Chandler Zavala, only 5 votes at 5%. So Dorian Williams is going to be the pick. Once I find where he went, somewhere on here. Where did Williams go? Again, this is a little funky system they have here. There he is. Dorian Williams, our pick. But still some needs. Slot corner, edge rusher. That is going to be something to really look at. And, of course, you're now in later rounds, and it's hard to count on these guys. But that is the selection. There goes Caillou Blue Kelly. Wesley, not a fan of the pick. As I'm going to roll through these really quickly right now so we can kind of get this thing moving. There goes Nick Hampton. There goes Overshawn. There goes the other Byron Young. Just want to scroll down so you guys can see it. Parker Washington to Dallas. Izzy Abanconda to Buffalo. McGuire. He could have been on our list to Cincinnati. Oh, can't see the screen. I'm sorry. Yep, sorry. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let me scroll back up here so you guys can see all the picks since Dorian Williams. Here goes Caillou Blue Kelly, Aiden O'Connell, Nick Hampton, DeMarvian Overshawn, Zach Kuntz, Byron Young, Washington, McGuire. There you go. Yeah, thank you. Sometimes I forget. This is not a sophisticated system I have over here. It is one man, one laptop, and not a great setup for live streams. That's why I don't do a whole lot of this stuff, but I'll work on it, and we're making it through. Click all again. Steven's my all guy. Steven's the guy that reminds me to look at the big board. So thank you, Steven, for doing that. And scroll. I will scroll as we look at the top names here. Corey Trice, Dwayne McBride, who Joe C. from the site is a big fan of. A lot of running backs. It's a lot of running backs still on the board. We'll see when the running back run occurs. But let me go ahead and go through some of these names here. Let me scroll back up to the top and get as many picks knocked out as possible. There goes Zavala. There goes Corey Trice. Probably goes back to playing safety. There goes Daniel Scott, McBride. So we're in the 5th round. It's going to be a while for us, so I'm going to just rapid fire through. Chase Brown, Daniels. There goes Yaya Diaby. That would have been an edge guy for me. I would have taken Diaby probably had he been there. KJ says, run it back. It was a practice run. We're going to try to do one more with real people. I think it's going to be more fun with some real people. So I'll try to schedule something. It could go much worse, though. There could be just one troll in there, doing stupid stuff, but we'll see. Although I don't know if I can do that for 7 rounds because that's a long time. But rolling through the picks here for you guys to see. Chelsea, thank you so much for the nice comments. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, a lot of fun. I don't take any of this stuff too seriously when it comes to mock drafts, and so it's all just Wanya Morris in the 5th round feels late, and same with the Michigan center. Yeah, what great value that is for Seattle. Brent Strange, Charlie Jones, how do you say his name? Nick Saldiveri. He had a good Senior Bowl week, really good college career, underrated guy in his class. Stetson Bennett. Yeah, some of these quarterbacks go. And KJ Henry. Yeah, KJ Henry is gone. I thought he went maybe a bit earlier than I thought he would. As the tackles are going with Nick Broker, who might play. He actually kicked inside the guard a senior year. Ryan Hayes. There's Dontavian Wicks. Thought had a nice Senior Bowl week. And so we are coming up here on our pick. Clayton Tune, quarterback. Brandon Joseph. Chris Rodriguez. And the Cardinals' Deuce Vaughn, the small running back from Kansas State in those commercials. All right. So we're on the clock here. 5th round, a pick we acquired from the Dallas Cowboys. And the top names here, Cameron Latou from Alabama, Terrell Smith, Andre Yosevas. I'm surprised he's there. It's good value at the least. But I think slot corner edge you have to really consider right now. Got to really think about it. It feels wrong to start looking at team needs, but man, you're so thin there, you got to add some people. So the top edge guys. What do we have here? Baldonado probably should be in consideration. Pitt guy, that certainly makes sense. Fehoko from San Jose State. What else do we have here? Jose Ramirez, Isaiah Land. I like Lonnie Phillips, Caleb Murphy, great stats at Ferris State. Where's the one guy I was looking at? Is he on this list? I don't think he's there. Fehoko's big. Yeah, he certainly is. No relation, to my knowledge, to Braden Fehoko, by the way. So those are the edge guys. Help me out here on some slot corner names. Anthony Johnson is still there. Man, at this point, you got to really look closely at Anthony Johnson, I think. Because Terrell Smith's an outside guy. I think Garner with that size outside. Starling Thomas, slot guy. That's a guy to consider. It can really kind of be your more traditional slot. You got Rajon Wright, Miles Brooks, who was a small school transfer who came up, Take Johnson, Braden Fehoko. He finished his career at LSU. He started, I forget where Fehoko started his career, Texas Tech or something, and then he transferred. Look at safety for a slot. What other names do we have here? There might be Daryl Luters might go higher than this. Yeah, just a lot of outside guys. There's the other Anthony Johnson, but he's like an outside guy. Probably goes to safety. Justin Ford goes to safety, probably. Nick Jones from Ball State. Garner's a massive dude. So what do we have here in terms of names? So we're going to put Anthony Johnson. We got to put an edge guy on there and Baldonado. It might be just edges and slot corners because I really want to make sure that we're taking one of those guys. What does receiver have? Yosavas. Might throw on there just for the value. Bryce Ford Wheaton, too, just to kind of throw some different names at you guys. We already got our tight end. Offensive tackle. We already have. About interior offensive lineman. What interior offensive lineman could we look at? Drew Scruggs, center, guard experience. All right, I think I probably got the names here as I look over the names. Gilmore, 5'8", 162. Says Ultimate Elite. All right, let me put in some names for you guys to vote upon. And I'll try to remember to bring the screen back this time. That'd be a good idea. So you guys can actually not just stare at it. I'm not even sure what pick number this is. So I'm just going to write 5th round pick. I don't know what actual number it is. And I don't know how to spell the pick guy's first name. And so without having to do like 14 different things. So I apologize. Baldonado. I'm probably butchering some spellings here as we're kind of getting later in this draft. So sorry about that. But Jamie Robinson, he's bigger than that. Or are we talking about Gilmore? I'm trying to multitask right now. And the last option will be for you guys. All right. Those should be our picks. We'll ask the community. The poll is up. I'm sure somebody will be upset about me not adding one other name there to that list. But these are the 4 names for you guys to vote upon. I think Quan Martin's gone, Tony. I believe at this point that Martin is off the board. So the names are, you have Baldonado from Pitt. You have Anthony Johnson from Iowa State. Starling Thomas from UAB. And I put on there Juice Scruggs because I like Juice Scruggs just as a player. I think he's going to be a really good NFL center so long as that back injury from the car crash he was in 2019. He had I think L5 or something, a vertebrae that broke. Obviously missed the entire season. As long as there's no long-standing medical concerns, I think he's going to be a really strong run blocker who had a really good game against Michigan and Massey Smith. Juice Scruggs. Yeah, Juice. Now, Juice is not his actual birth name, as you might guess. It's Frederick, but Juice is a really good name. Next year it might be the name guy, though. There's Kool-Aid McKinstry from, I think he goes to Bama. I can't wait for Roger Goodell to say the name Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's just going to be a good time. That's going to become like a meme or something. All right, so those are the names. As we still have needs at the slot position, at edge. All things to address. Yeah, Scruggs, I think, might be the best player of the 4, but who is your slot corner? Who is going to be an edge rusher? You're going to have to go maybe sign some veterans post-draft. This team did that last year. They signed DeMonte Casey 2 hours after the draft ended. And so he ended up being an important piece the back half of the year once he got healthy. So still some free agents to add. Omar Khan has certainly been aggressive about adding. Rhino Carter Warren, we've already taken a tackle and just got to start looking at some other positions that we probably have not addressed. Yeah, Bumper Pool from Arkansas. Is that his real first name? Is his real first name Bumper? I don't know the story behind that, but I'm there. Steelers Depot. Dave Bryant is here. How did you manage Paris and Darnell? Just logged on and need to leave to take another cold shower. Yeah. If that happens at the top, if it's Johnson, Washington, Brent's, if this happened in real life, I'm biased here because I help facilitate the names. But if this was the pick, just from a talent standpoint, value standpoint, incredible draft. Knowing that there still needs to address, but I'd be over the moon about that. So Dave is happy. I'm happy. You guys are mixed. I would say mixed. Lil Jordan Humphrey, another stellar name. All right, poll ending here. The image going back on screen. We're going to end the poll and see who we're picking. And it looks pretty overwhelming this time. The pick is in. And with the poll results, 90 votes, Anthony Johnson, 62%, Baldonado, spelled terribly by me, 20%, Juice Scruggs, 13%, and Starling Thomas, the fifth, at 4%. So Bumper is his real name, changed it from James. All right, well, Bumper pool stock up, as let's go find Anthony Johnson to go take him, who can play safety, can play slot from Iowa State. I know Tom Mead, I think, is a big fan of his game, and Pittsburgh showed some interest in the pre-draft process. All right, speeding through the 5th round, as we'll get to our pick here as soon as we can. There goes Yosevos and Juice Scruggs, Coburn, and Fehoko, and Baldonado. So all the names we were looking at, again, that mole getting his money's worth here as we are in the 6th round. What is our 6th round pick? We are at the end of the 6th round, so it's a pretty late 6th. So 3 picks left, a 6 and a pair of 7ths. Scrolling on down the list here. First kicker off the board, it's Jake Moody. Smith from Minnesota fell a bit. There's Helliams, who I know one guy really liked on here. Jalen Redmond, who had a good combine workout. There goes Starling Thomas. Trey Dean, who did not run well, ran in the 4.7s. Robert Beal, Pittsburgh brought him in for a visit. Yeah, people should go check out Dave's contextualization post on Allen Robinson. It just went up on the site a little bit ago. So after this is done, or during, or both, you can do both at the same time. Go check out the post on Allen Robinson. I think Dave just broke down all of his targets from this past year. And do that because he had to watch the Rams offense, which is not fun. Dorian Thompson-Robinson going to Denver. Braden, I want to watch some Braden Willis. I heard he's a good blocker. I don't know much about his game, but I had read that Willis is a pretty strong blocker. All right, what do we have here? Some later round guys. Ronnie Hickman from Ohio State. The Ravens take Mathis from Texas. Okay, Evan Hull, Northwestern. Raheem Jarrett, Maryland. There goes D. Winters. As our picks coming up here. Yeah, if Juice Scruggs... No, Juice is gone, right? Isn't Juice Scruggs gone? Or is he on the board? I thought I saw his name go off the board. Yeah, Juice Scruggs is gone. He went to the Giants right 3 picks after ours. Because someone is listening and feeding the computer the guys that we want just to make us mad. Cunningham, Clark, the big nose tackle from Coastal Carolina. Jay Ward. There goes Jose Ramirez. That would have been a good pick. Bryce Ford Wheaton. Height, weight, speed guy. Anthony Bradford. A sleeper in this classic guard. Got a report on him. About to go up. Is Stromberg gone? I'll check. And Alex Austin from Oregon State. And so Pittsburgh on the clock, desperately needing some edge help right now. Let's see if Ricky Stromberg is here. I want to say he's gone, but I don't know if I saw his name come off the list. You guys tell me. I don't see Stromberg here. Did Stromberg go? You guys know? Can anyone tell me right now if long gone? Okay. I felt like he was gone. Just makes sense. But edge, we got to start there. We got to see what we can have at edge. I got some names in mind that I personally like and kind of think fit. I don't know much about Tavis Robinson. You guys can tell me maybe about him a little bit. What else do we have here? Lonnie Phelps, special teams. I think he's going to work well in special teams. Is Thomas Nkoum on here? I don't think he is. One of my guys, Thomas Nkoum, another Mac product. I don't think he's on here. So Derek Parrish, I think, is going to end up playing fullback. Caleb Murphy, pretty small. What do you guys think here in terms of the edge guys? I think Lonnie Phelps we got to take an edge rusher soon. We're really hurting right now. Is the big G that tore his ACL? No, Voorhees is gone, Steven. Caleb Murphy, I didn't watch any Ferris State. I know his numbers, his production was insane. All right, so what other positions can we address here? Let's just look at the big board here. Davis Allen, a top name available. Payne Durham, I do like. You got Carter Warren, if you want to go back offensive line. You could, potentially go inside. Ronnie Bell from Michigan, I'm kind of surprised he's still there. Siraka Dennis, but we just took Dorian Williams. Right, the corner. Broderick Martin. What else do we have here? Marte Mapu. Yeah, it's not looking too great right now. I'm not even sure what names. Oh, Thomas Incoom. Oh, they're considering him a defensive lineman. We should look at defensive linemen, shouldn't we, for maybe some conversion guys. Although it doesn't seem to be that helpful, I guess. Yeah, not looking great. All right, I'm going to put a couple of edge guys here, and then I got to figure out maybe 2 more names. Maybe some quarterbacks. Max Duggan is there. Okay, there's only 3 quarterbacks still here, even for us to take. Yeah, the board's not looking great. I'm just trying to think about, some receivers maybe to put on here. Oh, man, I'm trying to find the 4 names who might fit. Defensive line, we had looked at. This might not be a 4-man poll this time. I might, yeah. It's a bad list all around. Ford Wheaton is gone. How about Chamari Connor? Although just taking Anthony Johnson probably makes that less realistic, but he's a hitter. I could definitely see him being a late day 3 pick for Pittsburgh. All right, poll time. We're getting near the end here. I don't want this to go on too super long, especially knowing that I intend to do another mock draft with real people that I think will be a little bit more interesting with a little more animation going on. So, gonna put some names down for you guys, and you guys tell me who you want. Let me add in. Oh, let's see what else we have here. If there's any other name. I think he's still on the board. 6th round pick. All right, the poll is up. We have 4 names for you. Did I turn the screen back on? All right, you guys make your pick here, 6th round, and it'll be 2 picks after this. So if you're having fun right now, get ready to do this 2 more times to try to find some names to struggle on. Maybe I won't do a poll for the last final pick or 2 and just kind of pick a name. I don't know. We'll see. Martin's probably the best player on this list, but we really need an edge rusher. And Martin's athletic, but he ain't that athletic. Uncle Dave wants a long snapper. Hey, give me what's his name? Robert Solderholm from VMI, or Alex Ward from UCF. Those are your top snappers this year. And then you got some kickers. Got some kicker profiles on Steelers Depot. Got one on BT Potter up right now. Gonna have Podlesny, the kicker from Georgia, either tomorrow or later in the week. Baskerville, I think, was on the board, but not in the poll. Yeah, Mike says the poll is a strong reason to not pick up a 6th round pick. The draft is so bad at this point. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough right now. So we'll make the picks here. Again, a recap: Johnson, Washington, Brents, Brooks, Williams, Johnson Jr. So we have 2 Johnson Jr.'s on the team, in Paris and Anthony. How will their jerseys be named? That's going to be a long jersey. I guess it would just be P. Johnson and A. Johnson, I suppose. So maybe not that long. All right. What else do we have here? Nate's still talking about Dexter. All right, let's end the poll. I know it's going to be a little bit quicker, but just to, at this point, you either made your vote or you're just like, whoever it is whoever it is. So we'll end the poll, and our pick will end up being here in round number 6 that we acquired from Dallas, moving down 10 spots. Edge, Lonnie Phelps, 40%. Thomas Incoom, 22%. Broderick Martin, 22%. Max Duggan, 14%. So I think it's a good choice by you guys, Phelps or Incoom. I think Phelps is a better special teams player. I think Incoom could fit a bit more in terms of actual defensive snaps if it got to that point. But I'm very happy with the choice here. I could have put Isaiah Land as well, but that's all under the bridge. Lonnie Phelps, our pick. And I could see him actually becoming a Steeler, especially if they do find a way to pick up that 5th or 6th round pick. So, McClendon Curtis from Chattanooga. I think he's going to go earlier, but that's a good pick there for Arizona. Davis Allen, Carter Warren, Really, it should be just BPA at this point, just because the board does not look super strong, and there's some good names going off the board. So the 7th round picks are going to be even rougher, even after trading down. What was it, 15 or 17 spots in the Robinson deal? Who do I like better, Dexter or Benton? I like Benton more than Dexter, just a more refined, complete player. As we'll click through the names here. Jalen Cropper Moreno going to Tennessee. Aubrey Miller, the hard-hitting linebacker, undersized from Jackson State. Jackson State's got a couple of guys in Miller and Isaiah Bolden. As Broderick Martin tumbles a bit here, 7th round to Houston. Miles Brooks, Hasselwood, the tall receiver. Oh, we're on the clock. That was quick. Okay. I don't know. The Allen Robinson trade might not be actually reflected in here because I think Pittsburgh's picking lower than this, aren't they? Okay, yeah, the board has not been updated to reflect the Robinson deal. So we're going to go ahead and make a trade to make this realistic. Let's go do that, because why not? Let's see. We got to move down 15 spots, and no, actually, will they accept it? I don't know if they'll accept it because of the way this logic will work. So yeah, they won't. Okay, well, I can't do a trade then to make it realistic, because they're not going to accept anything in terms of the trade value. So we're going to just stay on the clock then. Oh well. All right, what do we have left here? Quarterbacks are looking thin in terms of the top players here. Yeah, even my knowledge kind of stretches here a little bit, to be honest. Some of these names I'm not as familiar with, but some of them I are. I am as familiar with. I'm losing the speech here towards the end. Marte Mapu played kind of safety overhang, playing more inside linebacker at the Senior Bowl. Let's see. I do like, how do you say it? Lipke from North Dakota State. Jake Bobo, our Dr. Melanie Friedlander is a fan. How about City Sal? I know Dave's mentioned him. We can get some interior off. We do need a backup center right now. Do need John Gaines, some UCLA, like from a talent standpoint. He tested extremely well. That's something to consider there. Daniel Scott is off the board, Mark, so he's not an option. Just kind of scrolling. Mitchell Tinsley from Penn State. Max Duggan is still there. Not a lot of quarterbacks to choose from. Darrell Luter is good value, I would say, at this point. Bumper Pool. Our friend Bumper Pool is there. Shaka Hayward. Connor. Brandon Hill. Not a huge fan of his game. All right, let's see in terms of what we have here. Probably going to end up being just a couple of names here. What do we have in terms of interior offensive lines? Gaines, Richards, Bass. All right, let's go to the poll. Our next to last pick here. Start a poll. 7th round. We're going to put in a couple of maybe offensive linemen for you guys. What else do we have here to add in? Trying to think about some of the names that we could place. All right. The poll is up. I might have missed a name in there to mention, but that's okay. Oh, screen is back. Not supposed to be on that screen. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. I didn't put Lipke on there, but he probably will be around for our next pick. We can put him on there. Yeah, no Mapu. Sorry. We took Dorian Williams. They signed Tanner Muse. That's fine. So those are the names. Mustafa. There's enough like one techs on this team that are like kind of lower end guys. I don't want to put Mustafa on there at this point. All right, let's see. Shaka Hayward. Yeah, they're like second cousins. They've never met though. I mean, they're related, but it doesn't really matter. They've never even like introduced each other before. So the Hayward thing doesn't really matter that much. Sorry, Grant. If Lipke's still there, he'll be our next pick. Although with the way these drafts have gone, it probably will be stolen from us. So I apologize. Yeah, no, in my in our draft discussion poll that I had yesterday about like mid to late round running backs, Lipke was my pick. He's really fun. I've been watching a lot of North Dakota State because I was watching Noah Gindorf, their tight end there, and Lipke was just popping the entire time. Yeah, we have brother rules now. This has been fun. I appreciate you guys being here and sticking this one out. On the clock here, we'll end the poll in just a moment. Our next pick will be in 7 selections. And so let's see who you guys are wanting us to take. Russ, thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here. We'll end the poll. And the pick will be, as I put our screen back on, it's going to be John Gaines, who actually, Max Duggan got more votes than I thought. 46% though to Gaines, 30% to Duggan, 11 to Sal, and 11 to Luter Jr. And so let's go find Mr. John Gaines right there at the top. Was he the best rated overall? No, a couple of picks down. Yeah, oh, will Lipke be there? I don't know about that. But John Gaines is our pick. And we'll go ahead and sim to our last pick. What round do I see Jalen Wayne going from South Alabama? Later round guy, day 3. I don't know, I couldn't tell you for sure, but somewhere later I would say on day 3. As Jordan Howden, Matt Landers, Dubas from Charlotte, interesting guy. And Mapu goes 1 pick ahead. All right, so we're going to have our last pick here. And just a reminder of our draft. You guys can see it right here. All right, so what are we doing here? We're going to keep the same names of Max Duggan on there. We're going to put our friend Hunter Lipke on there for Grant. You got PJ Mustipher. I mean, I'm just going to throw some names on there real quick and just, put a receiver maybe on there too. Just in Steelers fashion, what receiver could we... I like Malik Knowles. I think he's an early versatile guy, return threat. So let me put the poll together and we'll make our last pick of the draft. And again, we'll do one more of these mock drafts here for you guys. So we'll start the poll, and that's going to be... I'm going to put a wide receiver on there for you guys. Add some options in quarterback. And then we'll do the undrafted free agents. No, we won't do the undrafted free agents. We won't do that. I will have hopefully a full 7-round mock draft for the entire NFL sometime next week, of course, in addition to my Pittsburgh Steelers final mock draft. That'll be, I don't know what day it's going to be, but it will happen, of course, before next Thursday. So those are the names on there: Knowles, Duggan, Lipke, and PJ Mustipher. So you guys go ahead and make the pick. Troy says, need more beef with Mustipher. Shaka Hayward. Yeah, I could have put him on there. I didn't. I'm sorry. Undrafted free agent quarterback, Duggan time. Is he really going to win? Well, he might get some reps. That's more than what Chris Oladokun got last year. So we're making progress. Everyone's going to want to find their next Brock Purdy. McKenna Manilow says, I like how the draft turned out. Big Dorian Williams fan. So glad you mocked him. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to put one last poll after this selection is made so you guys can grade the draft, which is really grading yourself. After Paris Johnson, who I didn't even need to put a poll to, I had you guys, pick all the picks. So this is really a grade of you, but I do choose the 4, and you guys choose the 1 of the 4. So we're all in this together. All right. Let me go ahead and end the poll, and so we can finish out the draft, put our final grades, and go ahead and start wrapping this thing up. And so the poll ends, and the pick is going to be with 40% of the vote. Let me put the screen back on. With 40% of the vote, Max Duggan is going to be the guy. Hunter Lipke, I'm sorry, Grant. I tried. 26%. PJ Mustipher, 26% as well. And Malik Knowles at 5%. So We'll get Lipke in free agency. We'll do the bidding here. And so Max Duggan, listen, I don't want to take a quarterback in the 7th round. I don't want to take Max Duggan in the 7th round. But we listen to the poll, and the poll says Max Duggan. And I'll go through the last handful of picks here in rapid fashion. There goes City Sal, or however you say it. There goes Lipke. We don't get Lipke in free agency. Of course, he goes to the 49ers. That's like a perfect place for him to replace Juszczyk in a year or two. So that is a strong fit there. He's going to a good home, at least, for you. There goes Thomas Incoom, Merriweather, Jason Taylor, who had like 6 picks last year for the Cowboys, Higgins, and Mr. Irrelevant. Who will be Mr. Irrelevant as I kind of try to finagle this thing? Let me just put that. Hold on. Who was it? It was Mitchell Tinsley, the receiver from Penn State. Let's see the results overall. All right, here are our picks. You guys can see the overall selections. We'll look at the AFC North here briefly. But our selections, to recap, Paris Johnson in our laps at 17. As Wes says, it was all downhill after Paris Johnson Jr. Darnell Washington at 32, the tight end from Georgia. Julius Brents at 49, the corner from Kansas State. Carl Brooks, the defensive lineman, Bowling Green at 80. Dorian Williams at 120, the off-ball linebacker from Tulane. Anthony Johnson after a trade down. That was us trading down. Actually, it was Brooks at 90 because we went from 80 to 90 with Dallas to get a 5 and a 6, which in hindsight, not great. But then Williams and then Anthony Johnson in the 5th round, the corner / safety from Iowa State. Lonnie Phelps, 6th round, the edge from Kansas. And then our 2 7th round picks, John Gaines, which I think is good value with John Gaines in the 7th round. I doubt he's going to last that long in real life. And then Max Duggan, just like last year, ending things with a quarterback. So let me go ahead here to put a poll for your grade on this, how you guys would feel about this draft if it actually happened in real life. And that'll be our last poll of the day. So draft grade is going to be just a very simple letter process. There's no pluses or minuses. It's just straight numbers here for you guys. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate that. My personal grade, I'll wait after. I'll wait till after the poll results come in. But thank you, Russ and Wes and Steven and Mark and Nico, everybody who's been here. And like I said, we'll try to do. Actually, our live mock might be sooner than later, maybe even Friday night, because over the weekend I want to start working on my full 7-round mock draft. That takes several days to do, so we might do. It won't be tomorrow night, the next mock, but if I can find a good time and all that can kind of work, I'm hoping maybe Friday night. And I probably won't do all 7 rounds, to be honest. I don't know if they're all 7 rounds or not. I might just do like the top 3 rounds and then bail because it's just going to be a long time. So, yeah, let's go see the poll results and I'll give my final analysis and we'll wrap this thing up. And then you guys can go check out Dave's post on Allen Robinson. Please go check out the site for more great Steelers content. So, the poll is, with 50 votes, the votes have trailed off. We're in a non-peak election season. B grade, 54%. A grade, 20%. C grade, 20%. D grade, 5%. So I would 74% saying A or B. I'm happy with that. If I had to choose my own letter grade, honestly, for me, I'm biased. I'd give this an A. I now understand that slot corner is a concern, edge is a concern, but this team has enough holes still where you're not going to be able to fill everything unless you just have like the most amazing A+ draft ever, where just everything is perfect. But to get a stud, hopefully future franchise left tackle, Washington for the philosophy of this offense is great. Brents to get that at 49 is fantastic. Brooks, I think, is a strong pickup there. Williams is fine. Johnson, I think, is decent value. Phelps is going to be an awesome guy on special teams. Gaines is great value. Duggan, I don't like really that much, but fine, I can live with that. I give it an A. I mean, that's just my I think the mock I done The first time was Addison, and I forget who else was on there, but that was not an A kind of a draft. But this one I am pretty happy with. But that's just my opinion, and you are entitled to disagree. So, all right, we're going to wrap this thing up. There'll be an archive version of this on the site, hopefully in a little bit. YouTube's been a little funny lately in terms of me being able to download these videos and post them on the site, but it'll be on there at some point. And I'm also going to get some food because I have not had dinner yet, and so I want to go eat at some point too. But that is the pick. Let's just look here, last thing, around the AFC North, and then we'll log off to see what the rivals did. And Nico, thank you so much. Yeah, NFL nerd, glad you connect as much as you do. Yeah, I love talking with you guys. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a really good community. I think Steelers Nation in particular, because there just are so many fans all over the place, just brings different perspectives. And I think it's it has people who aren't very nice and its own flaws, of course, but it's a really good community based, I think, to talk with. So Jackson Smith and Jigba, first round pick to Baltimore. From there, they don't have a lot of capital. Bennett feels a little bit high. Hampton's, I think, good value. A lot of Texas here at the end for the Ravens. For the Bengals, Van Ness, Rush, Spears, McGuire, Wicks, Clark, McFadden. It's a pretty solid haul, I think, for Cincinnati. Eventually replacing Joe Mixon, adding D-line depth with Van Ness and McGuire. Rush as a top corner. Wicks might be a little bit early, but he's a versatile guy. And then Clark is that kind of big guy in the middle. So solid. And then the Browns, not picking until the third round. Charbonnet, I guess is how you say that. Hutchinson, Henry, Kuntz, Diaby. And then a couple of picks to round things out. So I think given the capital, Henry to me is probably a bit early, but I think that's solid. I think the Browns, had like a B draft. The Bengals kind of A draft. Ravens, what would I give that briefly? C draft. Smith and Jigba solid. The rest of it's kind of eh. And I think Pittsburgh, again, biased, but I would give that an A. We'll look at the entire NFL first round recap one last time. Of course, the big surprise here, if I can pull it up, was Josh Downs at pick 12. I kind of like, in hindsight though, with like Downs being the one kind of weird thing, that's fun. I actually like that just because that was like the one crazy curveball that feels like a draft where like a Tyson Alualu goes 10th and you're like, holy cow, how does it happen? Or DHB or Cleve Farrell, like you get that one random oddball in there. I like that. It kind of makes it actually realistic. So scrolling down through the first round, let me just read the comments here. Yeah, I think, obviously, Russ, I think Downs does not go 12, but like somebody's going to go earlier than we think. There's going to be some random pick where, I don't know, Anton Harrison goes, 14 or something like that's going to be, you don't really expect to happen based off of what mock drafts. And Jalen Hyatt goes, I think late first round is going to be chaos. I think late first round is going to have a ton of names that aren't being considered as much for first round guys who end up going there. So that's my thought, at least. Where did Brian Branch go? He went right ahead of us at 16. So let's see what we have here. All right, that's going to wrap things up. I'll try to get this posted as soon as possible. And again, stay tuned for hopefully a third mock draft with real live people. If I can't do it with other people, then I won't do a third one at all. But I hope to do one for at least, a couple of rounds sometime pretty soon. So appreciate you guys being here. Do I like Anton Harrison? Yeah, he's one guy I want to go back and study some more, but to get that like young left tackle with good feet that can pass protect, I'm pretty much game for. So that's my quick thoughts on Anton Harrison. So wrap things up. Appreciate you guys being here. Please subscribe to the channel so you can see the future mock drafts, and I'll have probably a video on my final mock draft too. I'm not entirely sure. I want to do a video on this cornerback class before the draft as well. So hopefully we'll have some more content for you guys. Check out the site. Go read Dave's post on Allen Robinson and his targets. And thank you guys for being here, for commenting, for providing your input. Really appreciate that. And we'll talk to you soon.